All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Warriors of Æsir's live coverage of the 7th Æsir 1v1. We'll start off with a brief overview of some of the rules, or at least the changes from previous iterations of this event, one of which is, this is on Summoner's Rift. Another one is all champions are available, except for whichever ones you ban. Each player in our 1v1 will get 3 bans. That's going to be done in text chat beforehand. If you are a player in the tournament, just so you know, we are requiring you either post the bans in our tournament chat channel in the Æsir 1v1 category on Discord, or take a screenshot of them in your League of Legends lobby where you type them and post that in that tournament chat channel under the Æsir 1v1 category on our Discord server. We ask that just for Fold Mather and the judges, the organizers, so they can keep track of it and make sure that we are clear on what is banned, just in case there's any kind of arguments or discrepancies. All right, we do have bracket up on your screens that has been formed. I do believe we have, looks like 14 players checked in this time around, and a heads up as well. These are going to be best of 3s up until the finals, which will be a best of 5. So we could be here for a while, which is kind of nice. I mean, 1v1's first blood, it can be a problem if you just happen to die once, give first blood. Excuse me, multitasking with my casting and also joining lobbies here. Make one mistake and you're done, so it's nice to have the best of 3 to have a little bit of opportunity to maybe just have an off game, and also for the draft adaptability, which is something that's going to be really interesting to watch, whereas before I would throw up something on your screen about, okay, Bilge Water champions this time around, Zon champions this time around, Void champions this time around. These are the champions, and it was also worth keeping in mind the Howling Abyss, ARAM buffs and debuffs that almost every champion has, which definitely are a factor, but this time around, they won't be because we're on Summoner's Rift. So regular old champion stats, just vanilla, and we've already got our first game underway, or at least the lobby is up here. We're going to be tuning into Ulfald versus Conungramir. The bans are already going out, and I'm going to get those to you right now. Actually, we're already into the draft phase. So we'll take a look here at what Ulfald, and that is Conungramir on the other side, we're going to be pulling up. Fortunately, we had a few late signups, including Conungramir here, so I don't have names prepared for everybody, but we'll do what we can here. Caitlyn being hovered by Ulfald, definitely an interesting pick, given that, in fact, let's just be egalitarian here. We'll be nameless. Ulfald with the Caitlyn locked in, so anybody who remembers, and I don't think there are many, but anybody who remembers, I believe it was the first Æsir 1v1, way back in the day, that was, in fact, essentially a Caitlyn tournament. We saw pretty quickly things devolve. I think there was a bit of Pantheon, some Kate Pantheon, a few different champions messing around, making appearances, but it pretty much devolved into just Caitlyn, Caitlyn, Caitlyn. Now, of course, that was many seasons ago, different items, many patches, buffs, and nerfs ever since then, but fundamentally, obviously the champion is not very different. So I don't think it's a huge surprise to see Ulfald, who I do believe participated in that tournament many years ago, bringing out the Caitlyn once again. The question will be whether that's what the meta of this tournament winds up turning into once again. Now, Conungramir, on the other hand, bringing out the set. I know this is a champion he plays quite a bit, especially top lane. I think there's definitely an opportunity for an engage post 6, possibly, but My gut says this is going to be really, really rough. Set has decent inbuilt sustain. He's basically got a Garen passive of his own that scales with missing health %. You can take some stuff like Bone Plating, Second Wind, Doran's Shield, try to just sustain through it. Anybody who saw our previous 6th Æsir 1v1 knows that, yes, while we had some champions go for all-ins, a lot of what tended to win was actually building tank. The tank misfortune build is essentially what triumphed in that tournament, much to some participants' chagrin. So, we'll see if that's what we wind up again. We get a tank Caitlyn, but I'm not sure if we will or not. I'd be curious about the Summoner spells as well. I mean, I think Exhaust is just so insanely powerful in a 1v1 situation. Ignite is usually pretty good too, but if I were Conundrum piloting the set here, I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Ghost, potentially. I don't believe... We rarely saw Snowball. Well, we did see it a few times, actually. In some of the tournaments on Howling Abyss, we did see Snowball come up. But obviously not an option here in Summoner's Rift. So, with that in mind, I think you're obviously looking at what exactly are your methods to get on top of the Caitlyn here. And we should be loading in, hopefully. Yes, we're mere moments away from the opening game of the 7th Æsir 1v1. And here we go. Those of you who patiently were with us last time around, in which we unfortunately had to deal with a number of spectator bugs. There is an additional one this time around, or rather, most of them are gone, but there is one remaining, which is that I cannot spectate from my friends list. Some people have told me they have been able to. I've restarted my client several times. Doesn't seem possible. So, fortunately, that is not, but thank you to all the players for helping out. In this case, going to be an Ofal getting me an invite into the lobby so we can spectate. We can take a look this time around at some of the starting items here. Grasp for both players. So I mentioned before kind of a tank misfortune build being something that really came to the forefront in our previous tournament. Here we have Grasp Caitlyn with the Exhaust and the Barrier. Very defensive. Conundrum going for Flash. I think makes perfect sense. Flash Ignite. Like I said, I wasn't sure if potentially you go for like a Flash Ghost just for sort of a Darius Garen kind of build just to try to get on top of the Caitlyn, because I think it's the only way you make anything happen here. We'll see how he plays it. Early vision getting down for both players. Wolf presumably going to be stacking a lot of Grasp procs throughout the lane here. Doran's Blade in a pot versus Doran's Shield in a pot. So one thing I do like about the Howling Abyss is the extra gold and levels. It really kind of adds a little more variety to what you can start off with, but very standard here. Starting with a 90 caliber net. Very smart. Get that slow, get some extra distance, and hopefully Conundrum is going to have a bad time with that. Okay, goes for the Flash. Flash E, and now chasing, but takes a ton of minion aggro and a ton of damage there. Now Ulf, built over Peacemaker, autos, and Conundrum could be in trouble here. Already burned the Flash, does have Ignite, but Ulf, I think Ulf is going to push these minions, and okay, I think he should be able to get back under turret. He can recall, I assume he knows. Of course, the set passive is going to assist him a little bit here. This definitely stinks to recall with this little gold, but I think about as rough, perhaps rougher than I figured here for the set. A reminder, these are best of threes, so adaptation for game 2, definitely an option. But blind pick, so you just don't know. You pick set. How many top laners have experienced this? You pick set, and you wind up playing against a Quinn, a Vayne, a Teemo. You just wanted the old-fashioned 1v1 on the top side. Haymaker comes out to save Conungamere there from the damage, but still, very low health bar. Losing the CS battle, going to be down about 10 here, depending on how many of these he can actually pick up. Potions burned by both players. Ulfald continuing to harass with that range advantage, and that was really why Caitlyn came to the forefront all those Æsir 1v1s ago. Here goes Khan. Okay. A lot of damage coming out. Does have the ignite, but okay, the Peacemaker misses. This could be big. There's the barrier and the exhaust and the minions. It's close. Much closer than I thought. We could see there was the opportunity there, but in the end, it is Ulfald's Caitlyn taking a victory in game number 1.
Disconnected.
Fullback is saying Ulf skirting right on the edge of the river there. Yes, that is something to consider. We are going by Jaws rules. Stay out of the water, if you will. (1-0) for Ulfald. And we're going right into draft phase once again. Let's check it out. So we have the bans here in tournament chat, anyone on the WA Discord server, and if you aren't, why not? Get on there. Can check out some of the bans for our games here. Game 2 bans are available. Conungamere banning Caitlyn. Ulfald banning Lucian. Conungamere banning Swain. Ulfald banning Teemo. Conungamere's final ban Soraka. Ulfald follows up with a Talon ban. So definitely interesting. Swain ban makes a lot of sense, considering, if you're not aware, Ulfald, while he has a wide champion pool, definitely a Swain player. Most certainly. And here we go. Ashe for Conungamere versus Draven for Ulfald. Not a huge surprise here, of course. Conungamere saw how unsportsmanlike it is to play a ranged champion into a typical good old top lane melee champion and decided it was time to fight fire with fire, or with ice in this case, and bring out the Ashe. But Ulfald's Draven, that is going to be a lot of damage. I think the question will be if Khan can kind of play around the kiting and the slow potential of the Ashe. With the volley, I mean, he does have that poke potential. I think there's a little bit of a range, an auto-spacing diff, if you will, if he executes that well. Summoner spells will be interesting, too. We saw Ulf go for the barrier and the exhaust previously, and I think those really saved him. The all-in damage from the set just about did it, but not quite. Game number 2 coming up. Ulfald with a victory in game 1, up 1-0 right now in this best of 3, looking to move on to the next round. And here we go. Get a chance to check out some runes, check out some skins. Barrier Ignite for both players. Gnungrimr opting for the Hail of Blades. Ulfald opting for a different 3-hit keystone in the Press the Attack. Santa Draven versus High Noon Ash. Personally, I prefer the High Noon Ash, but... I mean, the horse is pretty cool. What can I say? Doran's Blade pot mirror start for both players as they trot off to the top lane. As a reminder, Ulfald needs just one more win in this series to move on to the next round. Gnungrimr will need a reverse sweep. 2 wins in a row. See if he can start it off with one here and take us to game 3.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Face check comes in, and Ulfald already on the offensive. Press the attack procced. A lot of hits there from the axes. We'll see if we can get one more. No. But that is a massive chunk on Gnungrimr's health bar. And actually, Ulf looking to recall. I mean, he just took a small amount of damage, but every little bit helps, I suppose.
Minions have spawned.
Didn't wind up using the potion. It looks like Khan is considering that now. Or just taking a look at his fancy recall animation. Or both. And he will go back. Did use up that potion. Don't know. Okay. Just curious if he was going to stick around, wait around for 50 gold worth for a potion. Could be troll, but I'm no 1v1 expert myself. Ulfald gonna get an XP advantage here. No teleports, which is something we did see previously in the Bilgewater Æsir 1v1. Haven't seen any of those just yet, so it does mean Ulf is gonna have an XP advantage. Couple of minions ahead already. Biscuit now available for Gnungrimr. Level 2 dinged over through the Draven. Always got to be careful. That Blood Rush stand aside combo can all of a sudden just have him running you down. For the time being, Ulfald content to stack up a passive that is completely useless in the 1v1, but makes you feel good, I guess. Get a nice little cheering noise, influx of gold. Well, actually, now that I think about it, because they made the change to his ult and the execute is based on how much passive stacks he has, it actually isn't quite useless. As long as he does hit level 6, which did not happen in our previous game. And we're getting some damage down, but the axes so hard to outtrade, and now Ulfald gonna continue throw a couple of those down. I'm probably considering a biscuit at this point. Has to be really careful. I mean, about a 10 CS advantage here. We'll see if it can pick up a few under turret. I don't know if he got that one. Ulfald going for another reset here. Should have a pretty healthy amount of gold. Does use the biscuit there, and actually Ulfald canceling the reset. About 10 CS up. Here we go. A few more axes. Doesn't get the press the attack, but I think, yeah, probably needs 2, and he would finish that off. Apologies for the interface issues. Unfortunately, the teamfight interface does not bring back our little sidebars, so we're unable to see the fact that they both have Barrier Ignite, so no flash available. Now Ulf looking for one axe. One more should do it if he can find it. Barrier going to be burned. Ignite and Barrier still available for Ulfald, and that's going to prompt the recall from Kanungermere. And that CS lead is going to continue to balloon. Ulfold should be able to grab a turret plate for himself and probably look to reset. But we are pre-5 minutes, so yeah, they're pretty tanky, and I think he's judged that maybe it would be better just to reset, get back a bit quicker. Dagger to longsword for Kanungermere. Serrated Dirk picked up for the Draven is going to be a lot of damage. There we go. We got him back. I don't know what the hotkey is there at. Does it say? No. Well, just like clicking to level up your abilities, it gets the job done. 21 to 34. The creep score right now. Big minion wave building up for Khan, but again, he really cannot tangle with the Draven right now. One is left wondering what kind of solutions are available for him. 10 CS down. Have the volley there. And see, even then, with the blood rush, the potential for these trades to be won so easily by the Draven is there. And just like the Caitlyn being a strong contender in previous tournaments, now one is left to wonder if the Draven potentially, yes! The Whirling Death is gonna finish it off. I mentioned the passive could potentially impact things, and there, little extra execute damage. Ulfball picks up the kill, and 2-0 will move on to the next round. All right, we'll get a little bracket update on your screens here. We have a couple of results. So, Fomacry with a 2-0 win. For those of you not familiar with Fomacry, he is a perennial Æsir 1v1 contender and 4-time champion. At the very least, I think, possibly more. Correct me if I'm wrong. Our stats team. Starvold with a 2-0 victory over Humiam, aka Travis. We'll move on to face Froyorin in the second round. Ulfald is up against the defending champion, Fomacry. We've got no results for Edo versus Ben-Hur just yet. Yumi Law versus Big Bang already 1-0 against Yumi Law. And we'll continue to get those results to you as they come. Actually, okay, spectate function is working for this particular game. So we're going to jump into the next matchup between Edo and Ben-Hur. I suppose I will throw up the draft screen here just for fun. But it has the lovely spectator bug where it seems to think that I am in fact playing when I'm really just spectating. But we'll get you into the action in 1.5 minutes here. Ben-Hur versus Edo, another round 1 game. This should be game number 1 as far as I'm aware, unless Battlefy is quite behind. I saw the bans come out quite a while ago, so it could be game 2, and we simply have not gotten a update on that just yet. If I do hear any word about that, I will keep everyone posted. Yes, I am saying that this is the game number 2. So the bans between these two players, Edo banning Quinn, Trundle, and Aurelia. Ben-Hur banning Smolder, Yorick, and Katarina. So Caitlyn available. A few players were talking to me about the potential for a Tryndamere pick as well. And looks like Ulfald versus Fomacry is going ahead too. Just for an update on the bans on that. Ulfald bans Darius, Callista, and Pantheon. Fomacry bans Draven, Vayne, and Caitlyn. It's interesting. One has to wonder if Fomacry wasn't tuned into the stream here. potentially keeping an eye on what champions Ulfwald was bringing out, with the Draven and Kate both banned away. But we'll be loading in mere moments here to get game number 2 between Ben-Hur and Eto. Which Battlefy is neglecting to give us a result on game number 1. If I do find that out, I will let everyone know. So that is I Don't Play Ari, aka Ben-Hur, piloting the Hui, which I've seen him play quite a few times. Edo, on the other hand, going for the Heimerdinger. And we're jumping right in. It's already 2 minutes in. That's interesting. Looks like not too much action so far. Ben-Hur is opting for the teleport. Little mage 1v1 action here, not something we've seen on the day just yet. Heimerdinger should be generating the push here, but well, he does got a fair bit of wave clear of his own. And that could be what we're going to be watching for quite a while in this game. Oop, stun can be missed there. Level 4 dinged by Edo. Ben-Hur just trying to clean up as many minions as he can here. Is actually winning the CS battle, but has paid for it with his health. A lot for a reset here. Ooh, and the stun is going to connect there. Now Edo burning through a fair bit of mana. Actually does have the biscuit. A pair of biscuits, in fact. Ben-Hur looks to dispatch some of those turrets. I'm going to be curious about the level 6 spike. I think definitely, okay, some nice poke damage there. Edo burning a lot of mana. Yep, forced to chow down one of those biscuits to try to sustain that. The level 6 spike for Hui, I think, is definitely going to be more significant just because of the execute damage on his ult. Although, Empowered Heimer Rocket does do a lot of damage. I think it will depend here. Ben-Hur opting for another reset. Farming quite effectively. Edo should be able to stick around here. I think the teleport helping Ben-Hur out as well. He was able to use that. Make sure he didn't give up too much of that CS lead. He is going to give up some of it now, but Edo has still yet to reset. Stun not going to connect, but Edo really doing a pretty good job of managing the mana here. I mean, CS is even. Be kind of careful here. That's the level 6 for the Hui. If he can land the ultimate and one other spell, that could be it. Flash Ignite's available, so if Edo's pretty quick on that, maybe he can flash the ult. Of course, likewise, Ben-Hur could just opt for a flash ult point blank, the old My trick on Morgana, I can't land any Qs, so just flash point blanket. Taking a lot of minions, actually, here is Ben-Hur, but you can see he really wants to force him into that corner there. It really just has him forced into the alcove, but I don't know who has who where they want right now. Ben-Hur kind of burning through a lot of mana here. Has basically nothing left now, and he's got to be careful with the stun. Just trying to get this wave pushed in. He's building up a little bit of a CS lead once again, and probably going for the reset. Right in Edo's face, though. I mean, he could easily just throw out a W and cancel this, and he probably will. Oh, okay. A little bit late, so he does get it off. And a minute or two, and Ben-Hur will have that teleport back up, and another opportunity for a strategic recall. Brief update from our bracket here. Starvald 1-0 is triumphed in game number 1 over Froyorin in round 2. And Big Bang will be moving on to round 2 against Zeliruth after a 2-0 victory over Yumi Law in round 1. Which means this is our very last round 1 series remaining. Ulfald and Fomocry is already underway. If we do get results for that, I'll let you know. Just to clear up any confusion, we did. Oh, hold on, we have a stun. The ultimate returns from Ben-Hur. That's going to be a ton of damage onto the Heimerdinger. Almost gets the kill. No flashes burned by either player, but I know it's got to be careful. Flash is available for Ben-Hur if he can flash and hit something. Flash is going to be burned by the Heimer. Really playing with fire here. I mean, I guess he wants to pick up some minions. Level up's going to heal him up a tiny bit. But man, some guts not to reset in this situation. Dodges again. Okay. Some pretty solid poke damage here. Another misspell from Ben-Hur. This could be big. We may have our decider right here. That is going to be a lot of damage. One more will do it. Ben-Hur gets the kill. 1-0 for the Hui.
A summoner has disconnected.
And we, in fact, did not get the results from Game 1, so I'm not sure what it was, unless there was a remake or something, but those were the Game 2 bans. So I'm not sure if that equalized our series at 1-1 or took it to 2-0. My apologies on that. We'll get you back to the bracket here. I'm seeing Starvald and Champion Select right now, presumably for that Game 2 between Froyorin and he. Fomocry with a 1-0 win over Ulfald. Further up the bracket. Given that that's our defending champion, and Ulfald, one of our hometown talents, I think we just might jump into that one. Assuming, of course, the spectate function is working again, which it seems to be fully operational. That in mind, we're going to go to a quick break here right now. When we come back, we'll have coverage of Ulfald versus Fomocry, round 2, game 2 of that series. All right, we are back once again. Darius versus Darius. Dunkmaster Darius versus Dunkmaster Darius. One has to wonder if this was even agreed upon. What are the odds if it is not? We appear to have a basketball 1v1 happening on Summoner's Rift this time around. Fomocry already up one game in the series. Game 2. Match point for him. Ulfold will need 2 in a row. A trip to round 3 on the line. Apologies for the delay here. The League client, as per usual. Okay, we have an error. That's interesting. My apologies for that. Let's give it another go. Here we go. All right. We're 2 minutes in already, but we're ready for Ulfa versus Fomocry, and Fomocry with the level 2. Ghosts traded already. Ignite for Ulfold versus Barrier for Fomocry. As well, Doran's Shield versus Doran's Blade. So despite the mirror matchup in terms of skins, the builds, fair bit of variance. Ulfold needing a win here to stay alive in the tournament. We'll see if he can do it.
Take notes. Watch it. Street rules. Get fouled.
Ulfold kind of fighting back here. Both players dinging level 4. Just about dead even in CS. Fomocry does have a potion in his back pocket.
Back off.
Barrier Ignite available.
Street rules.
There we go. Trading autos are both players. Conquerors apiece, so nobody really going to come out ahead of that one.
Watch it.
Doran's Shield, though, that sustain, I think, perhaps making a bit the difference that Fomocry looking a little bit healthier. Just a hair, but sometimes that's all these come down to.
Get fouled.
Ulfold looking for the all-in. A little bit low on mana right now. Here we go. Ignite is there. Barrier burned by Fomocry, and the kill by Fomocry. 2-0 once again. The defending champion will move on. We'll get you back with a bracket check-in here. Meanwhile, I'll see if I can't spectate. Jumping in to Ben-Hur's match in the meantime. And as far as I can tell with the bracket, so Starvold has 2-0 moved on to the semifinals where he will wait. Semifinals are still a best of 3, but we ask that the players wait to make sure we can see both semifinal series as well as the grand finals best of 5. For that reason, Fomocry and Starvold both are waiting for the results of our 2 remaining round 2 series, quarterfinals series, if you will. Ben-Hur versus who we'll call the Doctor, I think, and Zeliruth versus Big Bang. Thus far, we don't have results for either game, but we will be jumping into Ben-Hur's match as soon as we have that spectator lay passed up. Looks like the bans for this match are Smolder, Hui, Yorick, Akali, Zed, and Katarina. That's Smolder, Hui, Yorick, Akali, Zed, and Katarina. All banned away. So no Hui this time for Ben-Hur. Have to find something else to fall back on. We'll be back after a quick break here for live coverage of another quarterfinals matchup. Welcome back. We are currently 4 minutes in, thanks to the lovely League of Legends client. Ben-Hur versus the Doctor on the Malzahar, the B-Zahar, whereas Ben-Hur, aka I Don't Play Ahri, is not playing Ahri. He is piloting the Nico this time around. 20-20, and once again, a mage, or at least an AP matchup. That's just about even to start off with. Dark Harvest, the pick for the Malzahar, is an interesting choice. Does have the execute damage, but have to wonder if there might not be something more optimal just because you're only going to proc it. I mean, potentially you could get a couple hits when somebody's low and they recall, and maybe you stack it a little bit, but don't really get those ARAM 30, 40, 50 stack Dark Harvest games in this kind of context. Definitely have my eye on Ben-Hur to see if he can pull off some sneaky Nico antics. This time around, we saw on the LCS Jojo Pune doing just that, pulling Cloud9 out of the fire. Dodging out the Call of the Void. Level 6 there for Ben-Hur. Could flash ult, but certainly not enough damage right now to actually be lethal. Oh, let me correct our names here, huh? That Nico dance is surprisingly loud. The Doctor burning through a lot of mana right now, maintaining a very slight CS lead, which should be able to do. Malzahar, one of those champions, just innately gonna have an easier time CSing. I do believe Nico's Q has a minion execute, but percent damage. Oh, Ben-Hur sneaking in as a minion. We didn't even know. Gets the Pop Blossom off for some nice damage, and the Doctor should have just enough mana for an ultimate. I think that's what he's waiting on. Summons a couple of Voidlings, and now going to look for the reset. About out of mana for both players. But that was sneaky. I was curious if Ben-Hur would be able to pull something off like that. He does. Now the question is our Malzahar here going to be a little more cautious, keeping an eye on those minion numbers, minion counts, and maybe spotting that out next time? Of course, has the advantage of the spell shield, but not terribly difficult for Nico to get that out of the way. As a reminder, 0-0 our series score in this quarterfinals matchup. A trip to the semifinals on the line. Starvold, the opponent, waiting for the winner of this best-of-3 series. I've got to keep my eye on Ben-Hur here, so that I don't get fooled. I certainly did last time. Slight CS lead for the Nico right now. 100 CS, the victory condition. One of them. There comes the silence. Ultimate's available for both players. Ben-Hur not able to get the spell shield there. Nice dodging from Dr. Bizahar. Ooh, nice root there. Is going to be the spell shield gone. A little bit of poke damage. Flash not available for Ben-Hur for a good 2.5, 2-ish more minutes. Is available for the Malzahar, who has yet to use the Nether Grasp, saving that for the opportune moment. Definitely having some mana difficulties. I think the combination of the Doran's Ring in addition to the Lost Chapter versus just that Lost Chapter making a difference, although a little bit of extra ability power for the Malzahar. Really got to be careful. Ooh, I was certain that root was going to land. Got to be careful to manage that mana. Definitely need enough for the ultimate, but really the combination is often the best. Or here we go, the Nether Grasp in the turret, taking the turret shots is the Nico. The clone can't protect you there. And the Doctor's Malzahar picks up a win in game number 1.
Disconnected. A summoner has
Let's check out our brackets and see if we have any updates for you. Looks like Champ Select is already underway for game number 2 of our series. Meanwhile, on the other side of the bracket, Zellyruth 1-0 has picked up that first game win over Big Bang. A trip to the semis to face Fomocry on the opposite side of the bracket on the line for that matchup. We will be back with more coverage of Ben-Hur versus the Doctor in a few minutes here. See you then. Welcome back to our coverage of the 7th Æsir 1v1. Doctor this time piloting the Fizz versus I don't play Ari. Well, what do you know? He's piloting the Ari this time around. Our previous matchup, Nico versus Malzahar. Malzahar was banned away in Champion Select here for Game 2.
30 seconds
So
until minions spawn.
the Doctor pivoting to the Fizz. Still selecting its items. Electrocutes a piece.
Minions have spawned.
Not a lot of action early on here. A little late to lane is the Fizz. Had to get the perfect buy. Again, mirrored with Doran's Ring and 2 pots for both competitors. As a reminder, the Doctor triumphed in game number 1, is 1-0 up in this best of 3. A win will bring him to the semifinals to face Starvold. My apologies for the graphical swap here. Let's get that fixed up before we get too deep into the action. There we are. One nice thing about the 1v1s, we don't have to worry about directed camera trolling us the way a chaotic 5v5 sometimes can be. Couple of croissants there in Ben-Hur's inventory. Level 2, Charm dodged off with the Playful Trickster. Definitely going to have to be conscious of... I mean, earlier all-in potential certainly, but Doctor's Fizz at that level 6 point, I mean, there's definitely going to be 100-0 possibility. Doesn't have the Ignite, which I think a lot of times coupled with the Fizz passive damage can be what really gets you those kills. And depending on where Ari's passive is at, she does have a bit of healing of her own, not to mention how slippery she can be. Could be difficult to get that all-in kill. As a range champ, I'd expect Ben-Hur to probably be up in CS as we get later into the game, but Doctor doing a great job of keeping up for the time being. Saving a lot of mana as well, letting this minion wave push right under his turret, grabbing what he can here. And now going in, dodges out on the Charm, Playful Trickster, Electrocute. Ooh, but a nice little orb is going to actually win that trade for Ben-Hur. Level 4 helping him out too. 17 to 12 now, make that 13 in creeps. We've yet to see a creep score victory. And actually, we haven't even seen what we often do, which is once we get to that 80 and 90 point, the players are thinking, okay, I have to fight now, and that's how it ends. Haven't seen any of that. It's been all about the all-ins, the 1v1s to the death.
Let's run.
In the first 5 to 8 minutes, generally, throughout the tournament to this point. Teleport for Ben-Hur is available for the Doctor this time around, so he can match that himself. It's that level 5, but you can see he's really burning through the mana here, probably looking for a reset. Not overly familiar with the Fizz builds. Not sure what he's going to look to rush here. Dodges out on both the Charm and a turret shot. Playful Trickster indeed, and the Doctor will look for a reset at this point. Creep score is evened up. We'll see if Ben-Hur sniffs this out. I think he suspects it, but... Yep.
Feel this.
Didn't see if he threw out something to try to interrupt there, but too late regardless. Teleport used by the Doctor. 5 creeps down, but a reset from the Ari should allow him to equalize or even surpass that margin. Yes, he very much will. A pair of Amp Tomes and very interesting. So Ben-Hur opts for an Amp Tome and a Cloth Armor here. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan. I assume perhaps looking for Azanya's first item, but I mean, I'm not sure that we get that far. I mean, he can quite possibly get to a Seeker's Arm Guard, but even then, I think at these early levels, one of the biggest advantages of something like a Seeker's Arm Guard is having the armor against a physical damage champion like a Zed or a Talon, and you have the added benefit of the stasis if they do try the all-in. He is going to have that added benefit, potentially to to dodge out of a Chum the Waters from the Fizz, but I'm not sure that's worth the 1,600 gold price tag. Maybe if it's on sale, you pick it up, but 1,600 gold for a lot of armor stats that are not going to do basically anything against this Fizz. Not sure about it. Does have 2 biscuits, of course, and sustaining pretty well here. Gonna escort these minions directly into the Fizz. Ultimates available for both players, and we'll see if we see an all-in from the Doctor here. Potentially. Trickster. There's the electrocute. The charm's going to be there. Chum the Waters. No, he's going to bide his time here. Has that cooldown available. Ultimate. There's the Chum the Waters. The flash, but it's still on the Ahri, and now he's looking. Charm under turret could do it. No! Once again, the E gets the Fizz out, gets the recall out of Ben-Hur. Flashes used by both players, ultimates by both, but still no first blood. Indeed, there is that Seeker's Arm Guard rush for Ben-Hur, so he's going to have that available. But yeah, I'm not sure, you know, I mean, I could see, like I discussed earlier, yes, the more tank Misfortune essentially builds is something we saw in our previous Bilgewater 1v1, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that strategy come out and just looking for a creep victory, a farming victory. 9 CS down, though, is Ben-Hur right now. We'll have his teleport up sooner than Dr. Fizz over here. And, I mean, skillful use of that arm guard, especially with the flash down to dodge maybe a Chum the Waters. I could see it having an impact, but I question if, you know, if going for that survivability, if some magic resist wouldn't be better, or just straight up standard, just get some more AP. Which is exactly what the Doctor is doing here with an Ether Wisp and 2 Amplifying Tomes. Waiting in the wings, in the shadows, in the bush right now. Ben-Hur suspects something. It's once again the Ahri with a very slight CS lead here right now. Really got to be careful, though. The minions are not going to help you against Fizz. Playful Trickster. Charm dodged out. So much damage. I mean, you can see... Yeah, you've got the arm guard, but again, no defensive stats against a Fizz who is getting quite a bit of AP by this point. Really got to be careful. Has no flash as well. He's got to be quick on that arm guard if the Fizz looks for an all-in, which he very well might. Chum the Waters. Arm guard is going to dodge out of that. No mana, though. So that's going to burn that cooldown. But, I mean, with the Q, the W, and the Playful Trickster, you know... The Fizz still has that lethal threshold, and now is going to look for a reset himself. Does not have the teleport just yet, though, and Ben-Hur will try to grab some of these. Not too many of them, though. Should be able to grab that. We'll see what he can buy. Ooh, the Hextech Alternator. That is huge for an all-in. A lot of AP. Not to mention the passive, an extra 65. I mean, that's huge. I mean, just looking at Fizz here, 116 AP versus Glowing Moat and Amp Tome for Ben-Hur. Definitely an item disadvantage. No question of that, only 74 AP. And no defensive stats. It's going to be tough. See those teleports transform that I always think for a second is a kindred mark coming down upon me. Teleport will be available soon for the Fizz. Charm missed out. Here comes the Doctor. Chum the Waters will be up really soon. He might just keep chasing and look for it. I think that's what he's going to do. It's going to be up. It's up right now. He throws it out. There's no arm guard. It's shattered right now. The charm is going to connect. Bender's going to get out of there. He's got no mana, and he is dead. The Doctor's Fizz triumphs 2-0, and he's headed to the semifinals.
A summoner has disconnected.
We'll jump over to a quick bracket update, but I do believe we won't have to wait too long. The lobby, I've been told, is already up for Fomacry versus Zeliruth. Zeliruth? Not sure exactly. Anyone in chat, feel free to correct pronunciation on that, but in the meantime, we will send us off to a quick break here. In a few minutes, we should be back with coverage of the 7th Æsir 1v1 semifinals. Stay tuned. Hello once again, everyone. We are here in our first game of the semifinals of the 7th Æsir 1v1. No restrictions, all champions available. Here we go, Fomacry defending champion up against up-and-comer Zeliruth. Lucian with Ignite, with Exhaust, with First Strike against the Darius with Ghost and Barrier. If I were the Lucian, I would be frightened here. The all-in potential is crazy, but perhaps Zeliruth has the skills to auto space in the immortal words of Doublelift, and emerge victorious in Game 1. A best of 3 as a reminder, and we will see both semifinal series. Our other semifinalists are currently waiting on standby for this game to finish, so all eyes are on Fomocry versus Zelaruth.
Minions have spawned.
Make sure we get our sides correct here. Again, Doran's Blade versus Doran's Shield. This harkens back to the first game we saw on the day, Kanungramir's Set versus Ulfwald's Caitlyn. The range advantage not quite as stark with the Lucian. But with the slow, with the pull, with the ghost, one really wonders what exactly Zelaruth is going to be able to do once that all-in potential is achieved by Fomocry's Darius, and he wants that ward. Starting off Sweeper is interesting. I don't know that we've seen that a lot. Alright, Relentless Pursuit started here, and it's a Relentless Retreat for the Lucian. He's going to win out on that one, get a little of extra gold with that first strike. We'll see how crucial that can be versus an all-in keystone like potentially the press the attack we see quite often. Level 2 there. Relentless Pursuit, Fomocry trying to extend this trade and win out. Oh no, there's the ghost burned. Still only level 1 for the Lucian. We'll see if he can... there's too many casters over there. They're quite far away. Fomocry manipulated this wave pretty well. Now level 2 burned. Zelaruth has got to kind of wait out that ghost, and he does. Oh. Burning the pursuit like that could be dangerous, but no flash and no ghost means that he should be safe for the time being, as long as he doesn't walk into an apprehend. Level advantage for the Darius still. Biscuits also available for the Lucian. Still has Exhaust, still has Ignite, which definitely could come in handy against some of that Darius healing. To remember, the Darius bleed crucial, but as long as he is the first one to die, that would be Zelaruth with the victory. Doesn't matter if you die as long as you kill your opponent first. But still a level advantage here for Fomocry. Let's see how many of these the Lucian can pick up under turret. And a reset coming through for the Dunkmaster. No. We've been juked. He's sticking around. Looking to ambush here. Zelaruth is going to hold this wave in front of his turret. And finally hits level 4.
Get foul.
And that is the creep score completely evened up. But Relentless Pursuit doesn't dodge too much there, but we are getting some first strike gold stacked up for the Lucian. We'll see if we can check out where we're at with that. Meanwhile, though, Apprehend, there's the Exhaust, the Ignite coming down. Zelaruth, he's going to chase. He needs a bit more. The barrier is going to stop a couple autos. And that makes the difference. Fomocry, he pings those summoners. His ghost will be up before either of those. That could be the window. But for now, the reset coming through. No, again, Fomocry waits. Zelaruth with no mana. Better hope he's got the mana for a Relentless Pursuit to escape if he needs it. But Fomocry is just going to walk out, grab a couple of minions, and the reset for Zelaruth. I'm thinking Zelaruth. Zelaruth sounds a bit cooler to me. I'm going to go with that until somebody corrects me. Fomocry now coming out to a CS advantage, 35-30, and a Vamp Scepter for Zelaruth, so he wants to sustain, I think, smart. The one problem I see is Lucian really does have some mana problems in these extended situations, I think. Ooh, and the plated steel caps buy there for Fomocry really going to make it tough for the Lucian to do any kind of damage early on here. I mean, I don't want to go too far, but one has to wonder if that doesn't basically just rule out any kind of kill threat for the Lucian and basically say he's going to need a CS victory. I mean, never say never, but man, at these early levels, those steel caps, you get your money's worth. CS lead, though, for the Lucian. He's going to have to maintain it.
Watch it.
See if we can't check out some first strike gold here. 61 gold and 50 damage for Zelirus Lucian. Not a ton. An extra potion. Still quite even. Ghost now available. Noxie and Guillotine also available for the Darius. That is going to be a lot. Oh, nicely done there by Zelirith. As long as he dodges that Apprehend, it can be huge. Culling is going to come out. Ignite is there. Culling does not connect much, but if the Relentless Pursuit's going to come up, he can get one more. No, not quite. Can't get those Light Slinger passive autos off, and that's going to force the recall out of Foamcry. Well, hey, I'll admit it. I did not think the all-in threat was going to be there from the Lucian with the steel caps, and now a cloth armor picked up as well. But boy, it certainly was. Ignite used, but exhaust still available. Barrier now up for Foamcry, but no ghost for a couple minutes. Pickaxe is going to be the buy there for Zelirith. So if this goes a long time, I do believe has his eyes on a Bork. For a second, I was thinking Old Death's Dance recipe, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, maybe I am. I don't think Old Death's Dance had a Vamp Scepter. There's no way. Maybe Shield Bow? I can't remember. Potentially, that is a Shield Bow, actually. I'd have to refresh on my recipes here. Shield Bow or Bork, but for the time being, just mere components. That still should serve Zelirith pretty well here. As long as he doesn't get all in, and we both know, or rather we all know, that's exactly what Foamcry wants. He's staying up in CS pretty well here, but a healthy lead for Zelirith of about 10, and he has to walk all the way back to lane, so that's going to increase. I mean, Foamcry is really going to have to start looking for a window here, I'd say in the next 2 minutes. He's got to find that kill. If he doesn't, that could be game here. Best of 3, of course. It'll take us to game 2. It's not the series. And certainly some adaptation possible in draft after this, where the Lucian... And I did, by the way, I did hear from Conungramir, who does play a lot of Lucian, that was banned away from him, and that was something he really wanted to play all the way back in round 1. So definitely a champion at least a couple players like here with this rule set. And Zelirith making it look pretty good, at least into the Darius melee matchup. Gotta be careful. No ghost. Apprehend. Looking for it is Foamcry. Keep in mind, Zelirith does not have the boots. There's the exhaust down. Looking for the guillotine is Foamcry. A lot of damage is going to come through, but the Vamp Scepter is going to help out. Gotta be careful. Pursuit should be coming up here. I think potentially he could look to go in. You gotta be careful, though. Again, that guillotine is available. The stacks have fallen off. I think Zelirith, probably smarter than me, is saying, hey, I'm at 81 here. I played this right. I'm going to be right up at 84. Foamcry is low. If he resets here, he could be giving up the game. I think maybe faking us out. Yeah. Has to be. Spotted out on a ward. Pursuit going to get him away. And Foamcry knows he's got to make a stand here with these minions. 84 to 65. This is a CS victory impending for Zelirith. Foamcry has got to find the kill. His ghost is coming up. He's going to look. Apprehend is there. There's the ignite coming down Zelirith. There's the barrier. Foamcry's got to look for a tower dive maybe? No. Here comes the ghost. Now he's looking for the tower dive. Can he find it? The heal is there. He needs the ult. One more tower shot. Fomocry tries to find it, but Zelirith stands tall under his own turret, picks up the win in game 1.
Summoner has disconnected.
And we'll check out our bracket here, but not too much need, of course, because we're going to get a chance to see both semifinal series. Game number 1 was an exciting matchup. Zelirith triumphing on the Lucian over Fomocry's Darius. Fomocry, the defending champion. Not a lot of people have managed to take a game off of this guy, let alone win a series. We've never seen that. Every Æsir tournament Fomocry has shown up in, he has gone home with the trophy. This time, though, Zelirith, perhaps a worthy challenger, a worthy opponent. With a Game 1 victory, that will take us to Game 2, but first we're going to go to a quick break. When we return, Game 2 of Fomocry versus Zelirith. All right, and we are back. Hello once again, everyone, and welcome back to our live coverage of the Æsir 1v1. Unfortunately, I do have a bit of bad news. Game number 2 between Zelirith and Fomacry is not going to be on our broadcast. The result is now known. Zelirith with a shocking 2-0 victory over defending 5-time champion Fomacry to book a ticket straight to the Grand Finals best of 5. We will now get a chance to see the Doctor versus Starvold, our other semifinals best of 3 match, with a trip then to face Zelirith, the new top challenger in the finals, on the line. We should be getting into draft for that momentarily, but in the meantime, I have some good news. I appear to be joined by a co-caster, Steiner. Welcome to our cast of the Æsir 1v1.
Why, hello there. How's it going?
It's been cool. We've seen a lot. I mean, we've seen Caitlyn, we've seen Draven, we've seen Set, we've seen Darius versus Lucian. We got word the previous matchup in which Zelirith triumphed was Tristana against Fomacry's Callista, which longtime Æsir 1v1 fans will remember. He piloted the Callista in what was supposed to be a Shadow Isles 1v1 that inevitably just spiraled down into Callista mirror matchups and such. He piloted that way back in the day, and this time around, it was the Tristana that managed to take it down.
Right. It was a quick one, too, under 3 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the first game I personally joined for. Or the Lucian Darius game.
Well, the bans are out here for Starvold's matchup against the Doctor. Karma, Vayne, and Darius, the bans. Riven, Akali, Katarina, the response bans. Akali and Katarina have been banned quite a lot, actually. Interesting. No Darius as well. But Caitlyn available. We saw the Lucian, pretty effective. Apparently Tristana too, so does seem to be devolving into a marksman meta, although Dr. Gid did get here on the back of a Heimerdinger and a Malzahar.
Oh.
Actually, no, I might be combining a few different matchups. No, it was not the Heimerdinger. It was Malzahar against he beat Nico, and then what was the other match? Fizz, that's right. Fizz against Ari. That was game 2. Thank you. Thank you. So, Zelirith. Zelirith? I assume is correct. I tried Zelirith a few times, and then I tried Zelirith for a while. Tried both out. Zelirith. Okay, cool. Cool. Well, we are mere seconds away here. It appears the Doctor's bringing out his Malzahar once again. We'll have to see it is the Bizahar, or perhaps something else, but some other skins. Jin Malzahar, which is not, by the way, one of those hideous abomination skins like the. Have you seen some of those where it's like Lilia, except for it's like
Yeah.
it's like Lulu's body on Lilia or whatever.
Those are so nice.
I'd love to just never see those ever again in my life, I think.
No? You don't like Jin Zhao?
Jin Zhao is pretty funny. I'm okay with Jin Zhao. I can take Jin Zhao. But once it turns into like, you know what it reminds me of is the Macho Man Randy Savage dragons in Skyrim, that mod, or the Tommy Wiseau horse.
That, yes.
Same guy
You
probably
don't
made
want
all
that in
those.
League of Legends? They should do that. The Tommy Wiseau dragon, a different celebrity dragon every element.
They should. We'll get to draft up on everyone's screens here. Malzahar versus, this is interesting from Starvold, Jarvan the Fourth into Malzahar. Your thoughts, Steiner?
I wonder if he's just trying to farm up until he has a Dirk and then jump on him, hop on him 100 to 0. Or it could be AP. APJ4's got a lot of surprising poke.
I kind of want to see the AP just because it would be funny. I feel like there's no way that's the better play, but I kind of
No.
want to see it.
No, but the poke, if you can farm to 1200 to get yourself a chapter, yeah, you can take a page out of Malzahar's book.
Oh, that's a good one.
Don't lie to me, please.
The lost chapter.
Yeah.
But which chapter is it? Which chapter is missing?
Well, never know. I have to ask somebody.
Here we go. We are mere moments away from game number 1 of our other semifinals series. The Doctor once again piloting the Æsir, once again with a teleport, once again with Dark Harvest. A lot of familiar setup here. Starvold with the Dark Star, Jarvan the 4th. Ignite and teleport. Taking the Comet is an interesting choice and does make me speculate. Are we actually seeing the AEPJ4? Is Starvold cooking?
I feel like the cook... We may see a Doran's Ring J4, but not an AP J4. If that makes sense.
Well, you're absolutely correct. So far, Doran's Ring.
Oh, yeah.
He's celebrating Flag Day early, I think. I don't actually know when Flag Day is.
To Summoner's Rift.
It is a day. That's about the limit of my knowledge.
Don't
Sapphire
worry.
Crystal
Even
refillable.
if it's already passed.
Yes.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Today is Flag Day, says Starvold. And no more spell shield for you, says Starvold. I mean, that's an interesting, actually, interaction. I mean, obviously this is blind pick, but, I mean, Malzahar is never having a spell shield in this game.
Yeah.
Never. It's like playing as AP Lucian. No spell shield allowed.
J4 is not bad for it because
Minions have spawned.
well, you would need to drop your flag on Malzahar every time, which can be a little tricky, but you would be able to theoretically pop his barrier every time before you flag and drag.
Well, Starvold is having at it right now, but barrier just keeps going up. No poke just yet. Interesting to see the Sapphire Crystal and the refillable pot. Presumably, the Doctor is looking for a lot of resets here to get some money worth out of the refillable pots. Does have the teleport. There's the first poke of the game. Quite a lot at level 1. And first level 2 is probably going to go to Starvold here. The Doctor doing what he can to farm with some malefic visions.
I think if Starvold's correct, he threatens the level 2 and then goes in right as he gets it. Well,
I think he already used the E. I always have that on Jarvan where you don't have a flag, so it's like, do I queue onto the flag that's been there for 6 seconds, or do I just wait?
Well, I mean, there's always the thing of like setting it up and then going when your opponent least expects it.
Yes. Laying the groundwork for the all-in. Starvold with level 3 here. Feeling pretty good in the CS department.
You know what's interesting? There's a few champions that can do a similar strat to this. Graves, Smoke Max with Comet in lane is like crazy.
Really?
You don't actually go AP, but you go Doran's and you just smoke bomb on cooldown. It hurts.
I wonder if the cooldown for that is actually shadow nerfed on ARAM, because I feel like it's like 30 seconds on ARAM. Whenever I go Graves, I always feel like an idiot for using my smoke bomb because it's down forever. I have gotten a couple, you know, the old Dark Harvest smoke bomb kill on Graves, though, for sure, right? I hear you. It can pack a punch. No spell shield for you, says Starvold.
Honestly, I think the doctor should
Oh!
go back to spawn here.
And he hears you. Flashes, but does not dodge the damage from that standard. Demacian standard, I believe, is the ability name.
I believe also.
Teleport, perhaps, for Starvold? Yes. And he's got himself a Dark Seal and a pair of boots. Or just one boot. I've never been clear on that. I assume it's supposed to be a pair. Boots of Speed is the item, and yet the picture pretty much looks like one boot.
It's a pretty big boot. They probably a size 13. They couldn't fit the other one into the image.
Maybe it's like you ever do like those potato sack races? Maybe you just put both feet in the one giant boot and kind of jump at them.
Well, it says boots.
Maybe it's a misinput.
Could be.
Well, Starvold taking a lot of poke damage here, but you can see his Demacian standard. Pretty good levels of damage right now. And he's got a couple of potions, but ooh, Malefic Visions. A couple of Angry Voidlings mean Starvold is just about poked out of lane here already. And the CS is even. But Doctor did burn just about all of his mana to do it. And with only an Amp Tome, we'll see. I doubt he has enough for the Lost Chapter. Is Starvold nope. Gonna get the recall off.
He's definitely maxing flag also by the damage. Which is strange. I don't know. I think it might be correct to go Doran's Ring, flag, a lot of poke on J4 to start off a 1v1, but I think pivoting into lethality, like buying some long swords and not being afraid to flag and drag whenever you can is...
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there are no other AP scalings on J4. I mean, his ult doesn't have one of those sneaky, like, bad AP ratios that they snuck in the patch somewhere, does it?
Yeah, it is only the flag.
Yeah, okay. Like, I know, like, they added ability power scaling to Vayne's Condemn, bring it to me. Like, I don't know. I guess with the new Ginsus, if you can, like, Nashers, try that. Sounds horrible. I know people used to do the Rift Maker Vayne, which was actually good, but that wasn't good because of the AP scaling.
Yeah, actually, I feel like I remember the patch that happened where Freak wanted tank busting ADs to deal more mixed damage, so they gave a bunch of random ADs more AP scalings. I think Callista got some.
Oh yeah. Pretty good poke coming out. Got to be careful of the Nether Grasp, though. On the other side, for Doctor, you got to be careful of when to use that, because once that's done, that's all you got.
Yeah. Doesn't get a crazy amount of value out of the silence he has either, to be honest.
Oh, he might just throw it right now. Yes, Nether Grasp is there. A lot of damage, but Starvold gonna make his way out. And honestly, I think Starvold probably happy with that. I mean, he probably just okay, he's sticking around. With that cooldown burn, and Starvold still, well, I say still with the Cataclysm, but without any AP scalings, I don't know how useful it is.
Not too.
I mean, he could jump in there and hit you with some of those level 7 base physical damage auto attacks that will do a little bit.
He does have attack speed in there.
Oh, he's got the Sheen now. There you go. Ooh. He's made the adaptation.
He's going Lichbane first. If he's getting to an item, I think Nashor's would have been a. I don't really know. I was gonna say I think Nashor's is better here, but I'm no APJ4 expert, so I don't want to bite my, or I would like to bite my tongue on that.
Well, 52 to 52 now. Just about even, and a null magic mantle. Early mantle picked up there for the Malzahar. It's going to help him a little bit.
Malzahar having the lost chapter and null magic, that's gonna be huge.
Still a pretty sizable amount of damage from those standards, but not as much. And
Their grasp looks like it's up in like 10 seconds.
Yep. I'm curious if the timing, in theory, I think the timing is possible that you could flag and drag on Jarvan and actually interrupt the Nethergrasp if you get it going at the right frames, because then the CC will interrupt it.
Correct.
But I feel like that'd be hard to do intentionally. You'd pretty much just have to mess it up on the Malzahar.
I have faith in Starvo.
Okay. Here comes another Grasp. There's the Cataclysm coming down. The flash away. Ignite available for Star. He's going to throw a standard down and leave it at that.
Okay. A really good trade of HP bars for Starvo.
Yep. 64, make that 65 in a moment. Still quite even on the CS. Here comes the teleport for the Doctor. Starvolds will be up in a few seconds here, and I think he's looking for a reset of his own. Does he have the money for the Lich Bane? I think there's absolutely no way. So we'll see what he looks to build. We're not terribly far from a 100 CS victory here for somebody, and it's looking like it might be the Doctor if Starvold cannot find a way here. Okay, another reset coming through, though. Wow. So maybe enough goals for Leandri's here for the Doctor? Possibly? 75 to 71 right now. I think he's sticking around knowing without the teleport that he may be giving up that CS lead. He's got a pretty healthy amount of mana, and he's got his refillable pots. So I think he's resolved to stick around here and look for 100 CS.
Yeah. Ionians is a pretty huge pickup for Starvold, actually.
Ooh. Yes, and no boots on the Malzahar. Not a lot of running away from that. No flash as well. This game will be over before that flash is back up. Nether Grasp up soon. Cataclysm as well. $78 to 81 now the score. Looking for the flag is Starvold, and oh no, the Nether Grasp. That's so much damage there onto Star. He's got no defensive stats. Forced to back away. He's still falling, and he's done. The Malzahar with the win in game one.
Oh no.
The damage was too much. Just too much. We've all seen it from our lethality J4s that dive in on the back line and get one shot before they can do the one-shotting.
Yeah. I was excited to see it, though. APJ4 is a treat to behold.
It was cool. I think smart adaptation to pick up the No Magic Mantle.
Yeah.
And I think it negated a lot. The Doctor has been eating good on the Malzahar throughout the tournament. We will see if that gets banned away this time around. In the meantime, let's jump to a bracket. And we'll go to a quick break. We're back in a few minutes with Game 2 of our semifinal series between the Doctor and Starvold. A trip to the finals to face new challenger and defeater of Fomacry, Zeliruth, on the line. All right, welcome back everyone to our live coverage of the 7th Æsir 1v1. This is game 2 of the semifinals, a matchup between Starvald and the Doctor, who on the Malzahar won game number 1. This is a best of 3, so if he gets a win today in this game 2, he's headed to the finals, where Zeliroth is already waiting, having triumphed over defending 5-time champion Fomokrai in our other semifinals matchup. We're seeing some new champions this time around. Starvald is going to be playing the Ash, who we saw Kanungramir pull out earlier in the tournament. And the Doctor once again falling back on the Fizz. Now, Malzahar was not banned this time around, but interestingly enough, Jarvan was. So Ash the pivot, Fizz the switch, knowing Malzahar was available. Bit of a game of rock, paper, scissors with the blind pick we've got going on here as far as assassins, mages, AD carry, marksman, Darius, juggernauts. We've seen just about everything.
Yeah, it can't be too in a 1v1 tournament. You can't be too careful about one tricking a champ. You never know when game 2 they're just gonna randomly pull out their counter.
Yep. Well, I have to say, I don't know if you'd call this a counter, but if I were playing Ash against Fizz in a 1v1, I would be rather terrified, especially post level 6.
Yeah, I think Fizz definitely has the edge. But I think Ash has a lot of poke. She can command the wave a little bit better with her range. But it's so easy for Fizz to all in.
Absolutely. Well, that all-in is something we're going to be having our eyes on as we load onto Summoner's Rift for Game 2 of this semifinals matchup. Project Ash versus Fuzz Fizz. Who has the better skin? That could be the deciding factor. What do you think?
Well, Project Ash makes me think of a dork on Twitter, so it's gonna be Fuzz Fizz.
Project Ash NA, you cannot badmouth the greatest player North America has ever known.
He is in the pinnacle of high elo, for sure.
He is. He knows the builds. Today, Barrier and Ghost, along with Hail of Blades for Starvald to try to escort him through the terrifying gauntlet of a Fizz 1v1 matchup. Doctor already wreaked havoc against Ben-Hur's Ari with that all-in potential.
30 seconds
Looking to
until
do it once
minions
again.
spawn.
Dark Seal, the pickup, along with the refillable pots, is an interesting start. Considering this doesn't have that potion passive anymore. It's just 15 AP and 50 health. So I think probably Doran's Ring just straight up better. But I guess this gives him the refillable pot opportunity, which he has been a fan of. So,
Well, I Fizz into Corrupting Potion should be...
Minions have
I
spawned.
think Fizz likes Corrupting Potion a lot, so I would expect to see that.
instead of what he started or in addition to?
In addition to, like, going the refillable so you can easily go the Corrupting Pot.
I see.
Because you can't buy refillable if you buy any other starting item. Maybe a mana crystal.
Yep. Exactly what he did last game was the crystal. I don't think you're allowed to be in the water there, Doctor.
He's Fizz. Fizz loves water.
Okay. Well, he's back in the lane now. And he's getting autoed a lot by Starvald.
Yeah, just waiting for the Trickster cooldown to jump back in. I was expecting a lot of, like, low-level action here, because I feel like once Fizz hits level 2, it goes a lot more south for Ash.
Yeah. Yep, this is the start of every ranged top lane matchup. Vayne, Quinn, whatever. Get your run of things as the wave slowly lurches towards their turret until inevitably the jungler shows up, or in this case, the Fizz gets strong enough that he can jump on to the Ashe, and wow, level 3 to 1. That is scary. But he gets that electrocute proc, gets that playful trickster, jumping and out. Still think it could get rough. Has the level 2 now. I kind of like the Hail of Blades just because he has those opportunities to just kind of throw a couple autos out, and with the slow kind of punish the Fizz a little bit. Here he comes. Okay, doesn't land that, so that is pretty big.
Hail of Blade's definitely very strong early. Especially against Fizz, you get in way more autos than you probably would otherwise.
I still hesitate to take it just because I get so, like, weirded out. It's the same way if I'm, like, autoing a tank with Frozen Heart. Like, my whole rhythm just, I feel like it's completely messed up.
Yeah.
But it definitely seems good.
You definitely have to play, like... You have to get used to it, I feel. Because Hail of Blades Draven is pretty good, but, like, I cannot personally play it because I'm just not used to those first 3 autos coming out bang, 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 you know?
Yeah, I imagine, especially on Draven, because you're trying to pick up all those axes, and you're, like, getting used to the rhythm, and all of a sudden it's just like, boop, 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 you gotta grab them all. But here we go, Starbolt maybe dying to an all-in here, Playful Trickster, there's the barrier. Now he's gonna try to chase the Fizz back down. Does he have a ward for that bush? Not quite yet. Really low here, has the Ghost, but no barrier. There's a level 5. Cooldown's coming up for Doctor on the Fizz. Starbolt having to respect that. Already the all-in. We're not even at level 6, but the all-in is crazy.
Another thing about 1v1 Ashe would be you're probably not putting levels into your Hawk Shot. So you're leveling up your abilities 1-1.
I wonder if somebody would just to, like, check the brushes, I guess. I don't know if that's actually, that would ever be worth it, but...
It could be.
Recurve Bow for Starvold, and a couple of potions. Dark Seal into Amplifying Tome, and the Boots of Speed for Dr. Fizz.
Yep.
28 to 15, the CS lead. Pretty substantial, but I will be shocked if this game goes to 100 CS or even close. We'll check the XP here. Starvold now level 6. Gonna have to really be careful that that Enchanted Crystal Arrow is not dodged away from with the Playful Trickster, though. Meanwhile, the Doctor is just about halfway to level 6 right now. Yeah, you can see that. You can see it on the screen. Okay, that's used. Enchanted Crystal Arrow could come out now. Flash is there. Starvold looking for the all-in. Is going to land that, and now looking for more slows, trying to chase down. A few more autos would do it. One canceled auto, but one more would do it. No, the Playful Trickster comes up just in time. And the Doctor is out again. I really thought that was Starvold's opportunity. You got to know, once the Chum the Waters is there, the all-ins are probably going to go the other way unless he plays this real well.
I hope it's a wit's end being built by Starvold. Not that I think it's going to save him 100 to 0, but if we ever miss the Chum the Waters, it is a very bad time for Fizz.
Yeah. And we saw there, if he uses the Playful Trickster, I think just the Hail of Blades, the slow, the volley, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, There's a lot there that Starvold can bring to bear. He does have a massive CS lead, and maybe I have Caster Curse jinxed it. Maybe we somehow do see a CS victory this time, but looks like your prediction is right, Steiner. The Wit's End is going to be coming through, assuming we get that far.
Ooh.
No buy
Now,
there for the
see,
Doctor.
Very interesting here. The Doctor definitely shouldn't have pushed this wave.
Oh yeah, you're right. Starvold just gonna hang out at his leisure here under turret. 18 CS lead. A little bit of poke with some hails of blades. See how many of these he can pick up.
If Dr. Castrate had kept the wave in front of his turret, he would have had a lot more opportunity to throw some sharks at Ash, I feel.
What does he throw with that skin? It just summons a giant dog, doesn't it?
That's the dog.
Oh, we might find out. Playful Trickster in. Starvold, the Channel Cruiser arrow is ready. He's going to fire it. Here's the Chum of the Waters. We're going to find out. Barrier is there. It is a giant dog. Oh, it's dodged out from. That could have been the kill there for Starvold if he got it.
Throws a tennis ball to summon the dog.
Ah, okay. It looks strange on Spectate. We don't really see like we don't see the waters being chummed. We just see a tiny tennis ball and then bam. Giant dog. Starvold, though, 22 CS advantage. A lot more poke. He's going to take a turret shot here. I mean, at this point, I don't know. Starvold is starting to look better and better in this matchup. I'll admit it. I didn't have faith. I didn't have faith. I didn't believe. But maybe, just maybe.
I think Starvold should press this, to be honest. I don't think we should let Fizz recall.
I mean, can he? I don't think he can get over there.
Well, not anymore, but when the wave was under tower and the red side wave was crashing, he could have went into bush to press him.
I see.
Because I don't believe Fizz has nearly enough damage for a rotation of his abilities to do like more than half of Ash's HP.
Yeah, with the Ghost, I mean, the chase down from Starvold, I think you're right. Potentially a kill opportunity there. But regardless, doesn't quite have the Wit's End. He's got to be close.
Oh,
He's
Salvador's.
Maybe. He might not be that close. Well, no, because he only needs one additional. I think it's a dagger, a recurve bow, and a Negatron cloak. I think is the recipe for Wit's End. So I'm thinking that he didn't have quite enough, so he said, I'm just going to go with another dagger.
Yeah.
Could be wrong in the recipe on that one, but I believe that's right.
Could be. I don't think you get that much more for completing Wit's End than you do its components, so
Yeah.
I don't think it matters that much.
Some of it being the tenacity, which is going to be a little useless.
Yeah.
Well, Star up a whopping 26 CS right now, so for the Fizz on the other side, you know, again, I mean, we knew this from Champion Select, he's looking for the all-in, he's got to find it. All his cooldowns will be up soon, flash soon. Starvold's Barrier will be up not long after that.
Shots fired.
I mean, the Negatron Cloak, I don't know. I don't know how feasible 100-0 actually is with this much magic resist on the Ashe.
You sure need to land the Fizzar. Because doesn't Fizzar amplify your damage?
That I don't know. It sounds right.
Maybe Mr. Ulfald could answer my question if he was here, but...
Oh, hang on a minute. Does Star see this? I don't think he does. Wait.
Ooh.
Oh no, this could be disaster, Star. He's got to use the barrier to block the chum. He does. Now Ghost perhaps used. He's got to get out of here. But not a lot of damage. That was the Chum of the Waters, and now there's not much more. Oh no, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow does not land. Another Doctor with the flash looking to chase down the Playful Trickster. A lot more damage, Star. I don't know if he can risk this. He's playing with fire here. Doctor is back out, and Starvold, with all cooldowns burned by both players, will back off here. which is to his advantage. That could be the Wits End window buy, and 28 CS up. He's in a great spot. There it is. He sells the Doran's Blade as you asked. Wits End and a bonus dagger.
That was really good from Dr. Castrate, I feel, but I also feel like if he had better items, he actually kills.
Yep.
I wonder how bad AD Fizz is. I wonder if the second you see Negatron, you buy Phage.
Yeah. I wonder if you even just get like a Sheen.
Yeah,
It is
or
pretty
even a
expensive,
Sheen.
but... Well, the Sorcerer's Shoes may very well help him penetrate a little bit of that magic resist. I would be a bit scared of the all-in right now. Starvold, I think, is sitting here saying, hey, I need 12 minions, and we're headed to match point in game 3. 12 minions and counting. Hopeless now for the Fizz to win by CS. Should be clear to everyone, but with that extra magic pen, the all-in threat is very real. Does not have the flash. No barrier for Starvold, no ghost. He's going to take a lot of damage here. Playful Trickster is down. Starvold, I think, just has to leave here. Maybe looking for a kill, but he's got to be careful. There's the Crystal Arrow. Does the turret shot come in? No, the Trickster looking for it. One more auto. No! Starvold barely survives. That magic resist, I think, coming in clutch. He lives, and he takes us to game 3.
That was super close.
Insanely close. I thought he was doomed there. I mean, I was thinking he should just run away. I mean, he just needs the minions. Just recall, come back when there's no Fizzar. You can afford to sacrifice it, but he hung in there. And it worked.
Metal.
Fizz ult does not amp damage, says Fold. Okay, good to know.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure my client is having a laugh here.
That must have been just something I made up at some point, thinking Fizz does way too much damage.
May very well be. Well, 1-1 now the score in this semifinals matchup. We have one more game of semifinals before we head into the best of 5 grand finals. As you may already know, Zelleruth is waiting there to face the winner of this series. Will it be the Doctor or will it be Starvold? 1-1 the series score. One more game to decide it. One more break here, and in a few moments we will be back with coverage of Game 3. Hello once again. We are back for game number 3 of the semifinals series between the Doctor and Starvold, 1-1 tied in this best of 3 with a trip to the grand finals on the line. We are mere moments from hitting the rift. And it is going to be Malzahar versus Jace this time around.
You think we're gonna see any APJs?
I do remember when I first started playing League, I thought that Jace was an AP champion. I didn't play Jace, or else obviously I would have known. So I didn't, troll anyone, grief anyone by going AP Jace. But I just thought he seemed like an AP type champion.
You know what would be funny if they gave silly things AP ratios, like the speed gate buff an AP ratio. That would be really kooky. They should do that. Someone get Freak on the line.
Yes. Call him up. Sapphire Crystal refillable pots once again. Starvold going for Ignite, Exhaust, Phase Rush, and looking for some early poke damage here. There's the range, a Shock Blast, and a 1 trade for the Jace. And maybe just a reset. Yeah, 50 seconds in. Almost too early for a trade.
All right.
Minions
Got
have
the
spawned.
Ignite Exhaust, no teleport for Jace.
Nope. Perhaps then
Maybe he
looking
wants to end
for
this early.
the kill rather than the minions. Maybe. The Phase Rush, I think, is interesting. I think I like it just because as long as you can proc it, if you need to get out of trouble from the Malzahar or chase him down.
Yeah. I don't think it's for the get out. I think it's for the give him the business.
I don't know. That Jarvan game, the Malzahar was doing some major damage. I think he would have liked to get out. Quite a while before we finally saw the first minion fall in this game. It is going to be looking like Starvold with Dominion of the Wave in the early moments here. And level 2.
Doctor was rather docile until first base. His first Malzahar game also.
He's still working on his degree. He's still in med school right now. Once he's got it, once he's completed his residency, then he'll feel comfortable and he can go and kill Jace. To the skies.
Any sane doctor would.
Yes. Oof. Couple of missed minions here for Star. Means that things are going to be just about even. And Call of the Void, pretty good poke damage for the Doctor as well on the Malzahar. And Execute, plus the Voidling is always going to help him, although actually he didn't get any of those either, so... Minions not the objective here early on. We've got to wait for level 6. The all-powerful Jace ultimate could really turn the tides here.
Yeah, Jace hits a really big power spike on level 6.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of trade pattern, it's definitely going to be rough for Star, but he's doing pretty well in the mana department, at least. He's got to find a way to keep that... Oh, no accelerated shock blast is going to land. Dodged out by the Doc. Now Starfold on the retreat. Hey, enough of those Voidlings are going to add up. That could be like an extra potion or something eventually. Huge.
Voidlings not counted as a CS?
No. They only give you 2 gold, so it wouldn't make much sense.
Why not?
I mean, it would be nice for this, for the players who are killing them, but that would be pretty stupid in pro play if you're like, oh, he's up by 30 CS. Yes, well, it's all voidlings, so that's 60 gold. Starval with a bit of a CS advantage of his own here, not finding too much poke onto the Malzahar, but a little bit of a lane advantage as we press towards the 5-minute mark. Doctor very low on mana, still has a refillable pot, but I have to assume he's going to be looking for back. Yep, teleport back. No lost chapter, but maybe just picks up an amp tome. And ooh, and the glowing moat, which is just a disgustingly terrible component, but it'll have to do here.
It loves refillable potion, but hates corrupted pod.
It's very corrupting.
Yeah.
It's honorable soul. It's actually kind of funny because I think lore-wise, Malzahar would probably be the biggest fan in the universe of something that is a corrupting potion. He's very like, this sounds like I would sell these.
I have no idea of Malzahar lore, so...
I mean, I don't either, but he's like the prophet of the void. He's really into the void, and he likes corrupting things, and he has been corrupted by the void, or something like that.
Ah.
He's clearly into corruption, therefore the corrupting pot, he should have a trench coat full of them, I think.
Maybe that's how he became Malzahar.
Yeah. Maybe. Became. I see what you're saying. Bezahar became... Moving on, serrated Dirk for Starvald. Lost chapter is completed for the Doctor on the Malzahar there. Is going to be able to sustain in mana a lot better than before, but Starvald is going to be dishing out some damage and is a nice little CS lead to his name despite having no teleport. Not a lot of action in this one. Level 6 is available though, Nether Grasp there. Get those Wordlings out of the way, says Starvald. He's going to take some Malefic Visions. Throw a couple of autos in. Nothing too crazy.
Bit of ping pong.
Oh, another grasp there, but no turret shot, but quite a lot of damage onto Starval. I have to wonder if he doesn't invest in a no magic mantle. The flash Malefic Visions. I think he's still out. Yep. Not a problem. Even sticks around here. A bold move. So no flash, no nether grasp there for the Malzahar. And still 10 CS up is Starval. Should be able to pick up this wave. Gotta be a bit careful here. Call the Void could refresh that. Not gonna come out. No mana left for the Doctor, despite the lost chapter. And Star still gutting it out here, trying to maintain that lead, do what he can. Knows with no mana and no ultimate and no flash for his opponent. Should be fairly safe. Does have the Exhausted Ignite if he really needs it. But, yeah, I mean, if I were him, I think the No Magic Mantle investment could be huge.
Yeah. Or even Merc Dreads.
Yeah, absolutely. Although Merc Treads do... I'm trying to remember. Merc Treads do not affect suppressions.
Well...
To my knowledge, right? I mean, the magic resist does, obviously, but the tenacity.
Silences and movement speed back to lane.
Malzahar, the Nether Grasp is just one of those things, you know, there's the infamous Riot support telling people to just take cleanse against Malzahar. And then, you know, a lot of people building Merc Treads and they're just getting Malzahar ulted all the time. And, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it doesn't affect that, but you're right, it will affect the silence duration. Which I like the max of Malzahar. I like the Q max, and maybe that's troll, but you know, way back since when Malzahar support was a thing and I first started playing it, I have always thought that the Q max and the long silence and the damage from it is pretty nice.
Yeah. I mean, I could see doing it second for sure over the Void Lands. Because max Malefic Visions, I would assume, right?
That's what most people do, but I don't know. I think it depends on the situation. I mean, sometimes it can be a bit challenging to get beyond people. Okay, there's another graph. This is a lot of damage on the star. I think he's done here unless he can find the kill. Ignite Exhaust, one more auto would do it, but not quite. A close one, but the Malzahar barely survives the all-in, and he's headed to the finals.
GG's.
GG's indeed. Starvold looking for that all-in threat. It was close with the exhaust, with the ignite, but just barely not able to find it. And the Doctor will bring his Malzahar and Fizz to bear against Zellyruth in the grand finals of the Æsir 1v1.
Looks like that was the only 2-1 of the tourney. Very nice.
Yes, a lot of 2-0s, but at long last, we got our 3-game series.
Let's hope the finals are the same.
Well, the finals are a 5-game series. So yes, we'll see if we get a full 5 games. I don't know that we have gotten a full 5 games in the grand finals of an Æsir 1v1 to this point. I don't think we have. I think we've gotten 4, maybe.
I couldn't recall.
In any case, we will be heading to a short break before we get into the finals. Best of 5. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back with the Doctor versus Zellyruth in the Æsir 1v1 finals. All right, hello once again, everyone. We're back with more coverage of the Æsir 1v1. This time, it's the grand finals, a best of 5 for all the marbles between the challenger, Zellyruth, who's already taken down defending champion Fomacry in rather dominant fashion, 2-0 in the semifinals, versus the Doctor, the Malzahar Fizz chef, who has also made his way all the way to this final best of 5. As you can see on your screens, we have a thrilling and surprising matchup in game number 1. It is going to be Ornn for Zellyruth and Teemo for the Doctor. It's quite interesting knowing that Zellyruth's Lucian was banned away, and he in turn banned both Malzahar and Fizz, in addition to Nocturne. The Tristana that he piloted against Fomacry in Game 2 of his semifinals series was left open, but he did not opt for it. Decided the Ornn, with the ability to craft and or buy items in lane, perhaps would be enough of an advantage, but unfortunately he is going to find himself in a melee versus ranged matchup, which thus far in the tournament have gone fairly decisively in favor of the ranged champions, as you might figure with no jungle attention in a 1v1 setting. However, we did see a Fizz almost get Starvald's Ash. It was very, very close, but Ornn, well, some say Ornn is just about everything, including an assassin, so we'll see just what type of Ornn class specialization Zellyruth brings out. Let's load into the Rift. Exhaust, Ignite, along with a Grasp here for the Ornn. Teleport, Flash, and press the attack. For Dr. C, goes with the Dark Seal and the refillable pot this time around. He is a refillable pot connoisseur, as we have seen. Zellyruth giving him the whole run of the lane in the early minutes of the game here. Content to wait things out. By the way, if you haven't noticed, Steiner will not be joining us for the remainder of the finals. I've been informed. He has been fired. No, actually, he has gone to sleep, I believe. So you're stuck with me for the grand finals. In, as you can see, a very exciting matchup as we finally, perhaps, will see Ornn begin to approach the lane. Or did I speak too soon? The Teemo, the Doctor, waiting for the opportune moment to break the stealth, which he does. Listen to the soothing and satisfying sounds of the Ornn auto attacks. And their early push going in favor of the Ornn. Level 2 for him. See if he opts for the Bellows Breath or the Searing Charge. Is going to be the Bellows. Looking for that auto with the passive, and he gets it. Gets a little grasp stack for himself, too. Pillar of Flame serving him well here with some poke damage on the Ornn. Even has biscuits and potions in addition to the door and shield. Sustaining pretty well against the Teemo. Level 3 for both competitors, but it is the Ornn with a slight CS advantage, but a lot of minions cruising towards the Doc's turret. Question is, how many of them can he pick up? Nice Ornn combo there onto the Teemo. Will do some major damage. I would be surprised to see. Interesting that he goes for the Demolish rune choice on the Ornn, hoping to get a couple procs of that and maybe pick himself up a turret plating or two for some extra gold. Certainly with the Ornn passive, he can make use of it quicker than anybody else could. As a reminder, this is a best of 5. Plenty of League of Legends left to play, regardless of who wins game 1. We'll have to wait and see if we go the distance for 5 games, or we have the 3-0s that we've become rather accustomed to in the Æsir 1v1 finals. A bit anticlimactic, I know, but let's hope we can see a close series here. A little low for the Teemo, or rather the BMO. Bizahar and BMO, I am sensing a pattern here from Dr. C. Big fan of the Bees. 25 to 19 the CS, but a few more should go over to the Ornn here and give him just about a lead of 10. Pretty significant. Pre-5 minutes. Ruby Crystal was built. In the meantime, I didn't see when he got a chance to do that, but he did do just that. No knockup from the Searing Charge. Chowing down on a potion, or rather, drinking one. Some cookies available for Mr. Ornn here, and we'll see if he indulges. Happy to let the Teemo back. And perhaps we will see that Demolish proc come in. No, maybe not. Not with the teleport available. Should help keep things at bay, and especially level 6. Should give the Doctor a lot more control of the wave with those mushrooms and make wandering around blindly through the lane rather dangerous for the Ornn. No magic resist. Opts for the Balmy Cinders. That's going to give him a lot of pushing power. And frankly, for somebody like me who maybe is not very proficient at CSing on the Ornn, it helps the CS a bit. Generally helps. Every once in a while it messes it up, but a lot of times just that extra continuously burning damage can pick up a few stray minions if you do mess things up. 39 to 32, the CS score right now. Balmy Cinder for Zeliruth. Dr. C, on the other hand, opts for an Amp Tome and a pair of boots. Three biscuits available for the Ornn right now. So he can afford to take some trades here. Gonna let this wave approach. See if he lets it hit his turret. No, he does not. Now looking for the knockup on the Teemo. He finds it. Looking for the ultimate. Here we go. Call the Forge God. The flash, but it's predicted there by Zeliruth. The exhaust, the ignite, the bellows breath. Burn down that BMO. And that's a 1-0 start for Zeliruth here in the grand finals. We'll pop over to our bracket here. But again, a best of 5. At least 2 more games to go, but Zeliruth, who has yet to drop a game in the Æsir 1v1, having enjoyed a bye in round 1 and then 2-0s in the quarter and semifinals, now has a 1-0 start. Against the Doctor on the Teemo. An exciting start to the grand finals, and for now, we will be heading off to a break, but we'll be back in a few minutes with Game 2 of the Æsir 1v1 finals. Welcome back, everyone, to our coverage of the Æsir 1v1. We're here in Game 2 of the Grand Finals. It's Dr. C versus Zellyruth, who already triumphed in Game number 1, piloting the Ord, and he is running it back. It's Ord once again, same bands I was informed by both players. Ziggs the pivot, Teemo in Game number 1. This time the Doctor is bringing out Ziggs to try to take down this Ornn. We'll be loading into the Rift momentarily to find out who will triumph here in Game number 2 of this Best of 5 series. And a revelation, perhaps, that the Doctor is looking for the bee skin circuit, rotating through all the various bee champions. Teemo, rather, Bimo, followed B-Zahar, and now B-Ziggs? I forget even the name. Comet, along with the usual flash teleport, the Doctor's standard orders in the form of a Dark Seal and a pair of refillable potions. Zellyruth looking for a bee skin for next game. See if we get the ultimate bee showdown. We very well might. We've got at least one more game in store. We'll see if it's more than that. Dorn's Shield, Potion, Exhaust, Ignite Grasp, exact same build for Zellyruth this time around. A little bit of banter back and forth between the players. Very friendly banter. Bee-related. Well, I'm curious how the Ziggs will pan out. Does have the satchel charge to get himself to safety against some of that all-in potential from the Ornn, but it isn't an amazing tool. If he does it right, he can knock back the Ornn and get himself to safety, and that's probably his best chance here. Unless he's hoping he'll just have enough pushing potential that he can actually satchel charge the turret and take it down, but I would be extremely surprised to see that happen. Early CS lead already to Zellyruth on the Ornn. Seems to be his go-to champion, and they have to wonder if he does triumph once again here, if that we will not see an Ornn ban for Game 3. Given that he did take down Fomicry, Zellyruth has got to be the favorite to win this tournament. Has yet to drop a game throughout his entire tournament run on the day. Taking a bit of poke damage there from the Ziggs, but Dr. C burning about all of his mana in order to do that. No knockup from the Searing Charge, though. Just a couple of light little autos from the Ziggs. It's going to mean a fair bit of poke down onto the Ornn, but he's got a potion, he's got a biscuit, and he very well may... I was about to say recall, but I think I forgot what Ornn passive does. He's going to go with the Rejuvenation Beam. Nice healthy bit of sustain for the Ornn in this matchup. And the Ziggs, sure, he's not too low on health, but he is burning through the mana here with only a Dark Seal. He has nothing to keep that mana bar up. Outside of maybe a mana flow band we can inspect here. He does have that along with Presence of Mind, but that Sapphire Crystal start that he's been fond of, even less mana sustain. I'm looking for a recall now. Does have teleport, so we can show back up with, I assume we'll see a Sapphire Crystal, if not a Doran's Ring. Yep, Crystal on an Amp Tome. And the Ziggs is on the way back. Slight CS lead here for the Ornn, and plenty of snacks for him to keep his health up. Should mean he can afford to trade a bit with the Ziggs, even with the added AP from that tome. Quite a lot of poke damage coming out, and of course, the Doctor wanting to stack up that mana flow band as much as he can. And he's gonna do it. No health or defensive stats for the Ornn right now. He's taking a lot of damage. Gotta be kind of careful. But yeah, you can see nice spacing there from the Doc. He does not want to get caught with a Searing Charge under turret. We've all been there laning against an Ornn. Bouncing Bomb not going to find him there. Jellyruth looks to... he wants to use that passive, but the Ziggs is just raining hell on him right now. And now looking for Bellow's Breath, which he does. Searing Charge is going to find the knock-up, but no level 6. Now he has it. Does he look for the all-in? With all his cooldowns down. I think maybe not just yet, but he's thinking about it. Very low mana on the Ziggs and not a ton of health. Bouncing Bomb, nicely dodged away from. And does chew through all those potions and biscuits in his inventory. I'm curious if he doesn't get... He liked the Ruby Crystal into Bomby Cinder last game. Maybe, again, I think a Null Magic Mantle could be huge. Early on, 25 MR is a massive amount. $46 now means a 14 and counting CS advantage for Jellyruth, who already won game number 1, now looking for a game 2 victory and to take us to match point. In a pretty strong position right now. Again, Dr. C, despite the mana flow, the presence of mind, and now the Sapphire Crystal, has still burned through all that mana, and the sustain from the Ornn is just too much. I mean, look at this. He's nearly 75, make that maybe 80% health, despite having been poked under turret repeatedly. Forcing another reset from the Ziggs, and there's the Bomby Cinder. Yep. Just going for the health, the push, the CS, pressuring the Ziggs. Expecting a Ziggs to be able to all in the Ornn seems a bit far-fetched. So I'm not sure what the plan is here for the Doctor. I think this is another matchup that just not sure. Don't know what you do take into the Ornn, but something with more all-in potential, perhaps? That's talking about game 3, and that's already dangerous territory with a 2-0 for Jellyruth. It would be a tall ask for Dr. C to get 3 wins in a row to triumph here in the Grand Finals. Now 24 CS up for the Ornn. Dominant position for him. And he does pick up that Null Magic Mantle, so a little bit of magic resist. In addition to how much health he's stacking up, plus the added health regen. It's going to be really hard if the Ziggs do anything here. I mean, he's got to try to keep the CS up, but there's no way to close this much of a CS goal in the time that he's got. But at the same time, I don't know what he does outside of trying to push the wave fast enough that maybe he can somehow get the turret down, but that's going to take a long time. I mean, only 32 more CS for Jellyruth for him to get a CS victory. Make that 30. I mean, there's no time for anything here for the Ziggs. Trying to get that poke down. Does have the fully completed Lost Chapter here, so still looking for that mana sustain. And now Jellyruth, he doesn't want to wait for the CS victory. Bellow's Breath, the auto, the ignite, the exhaust, looking for more. There's the Pillar of Flame, one more auto, will do it! Jellyruth with the victory in game number 2. 2-0 match point in the Grand Finals. That will take us to game 3. We'll do a quick bracket check-in here, but 2-0. I don't know if it's showing up on your screens. I don't think so just yet, but 2-0 now for Jellyruth in the best of 5. One more win, and he is your 7th Æsir 1v1 Grand Champion. A new champion, having defeated Fomocry to get here to the Grand Finals. with Lucian, Tristana, and now Ornn, a varied champion pool. We don't know what he'll bring out in Game 3, and Ornn, once again, a run back would not surprise me, but we were promised a B champion, a B skin champion in Game 3. We will be back after a short break to find out if we do see a B champion, and if Dr. C can take us to Game 4 and start to bring things back, or if Zellyruth will 3-0 and become your newest Æsir 1v1 champion. Hello everyone and welcome back to our live coverage of the Æsir 1v1. Things are not looking good for Dr. C here in the grand finals, down 0-2 to Zellyruth, who won Game 1 and Game 2 with his Ornn. We have the same bans from both players this time around, but the adaptation has come through. The word of Zellyruth has been fulfilled. He is piloting a B champion. We assume he's playing the Teemo. It's probably going to be a BMO. Teemo this time around. Meanwhile, the Doctor has busted out the Alawi against it. Once again, we have a ranged versus melee matchup here. Match point for Zellyruth. We're a few moments away from loading into the Rift and finding out if we're looking at yet another 3-0 or if the Doctor can somehow pull things back. I can confirm at this point, yes, it is indeed a BMO for Zellyruth. The prophecy has been fulfilled. Up against the Cosmic Invoker Alawi. So no B showdown this time around, but we have ensured there is at least one B champion in every game. For quite a while, for most of this tournament. Fleet footwork. Going to be the keystone here for the BMO, matched with Conqueror for the Alawi. Flash Teleport versus Exhaust Ignite, the standard spells that both players have been sticking to their entire journey through the 7th Æsir 1v1. League client willing, we should be loading in shortly. And there we go, at long last. Oh, okay. Perhaps that was one of the players. Some kind of disconnection issue. But we are here, finally! Game 3 of the Grand Finals here in the 7th Æsir 1v1. Zellyruth versus Dr. C. 2-0 already for Zellyruth on the Ornn. Now, can he make it 3 with the Teemo? Or can the Doctor bring us to Game 4 and start the potential for a reverse sweep? Longsword 3-pot for the Alawi, Doran's Blade, and a potion for the Teemo, and staying well undeterred is Zellyruth, not looking for any kind of forward recon position on the Yordle Scout. Again, needs just one win, one kill, or 100 CS, or a turret here in Game 3 to emerge as champion. He's got his eyes on the prize, and into the fray he goes. One small bee against the world. course, we've all been in these types of ranged versus melee matchups before. We've already talked about it on the day. They can be rough, and Zeliruth has yet to drop a game, period. Let alone in this situation. Lucian has been banned away from him this entire finals, but he finally gets a different ranged champion, but not one we necessarily expected. Early level 2 here for the Alawi. And the BMO content to give that one up. See how many of these minions he can catch under turret. Not too many. Still up 3 CS early on. Of course, Alawi struggled mightily early on this season because of the changes to the map with the wider top lane, but has since been buffed. Whether she'll be the menace many top laners have come to know in previous seasons in this game or not remains to be seen. CSing pretty well under turret. All of those grabbed by Zeliruth, and now a blind coming out. A lot of poke damage onto the Alawi with no real sustain outside of the refillable pots. That is going to sting. Zeliruth really not walking too far forward for poking or harassing. I mean, he seems to be pretty happy just building up a little bit of a CS lead bit by bit right here. I do wonder if an all-in from the dock at level 6 could be rough for him. I think as long as he's got the exhaust up, the blind up, probably make his way through it. (22-17) now. Getting a hold of that spirit is the Alawi. Doesn't get the whole thing down, but does get some damage. A little bit of free extra gold in the form of those tentacles going to Zeliruth. The reset coming through here for the dock, and he's going to go for a null magic mantle, a long sword, and a teleport right back to lane. With no Ornn this time around, Zeliruth will be forced to recall and buy items the old-fashioned way. Does, just like with his Ornn build, have plenty of biscuits and potions prepared, however. Continue to dish out those poke darts, and has the Noxious Trap available, and there's the first one already. Test of Spirit not going to connect. Leap of Faith is available. Harsh Lesson into a Tentacle Smash. A little bit of damage, but traded just back. And again, Test of Spirit not going to find Zeliruth. You know, a little bit swift of foot can be a bit hard to land some of those. Dodges the Tentacle Smash. And again misses. Really the decider here in these Alawi matchups is so often can you land those tests of spirit. Only one so far. A lot of mana actually being burned through by the Alawi as well. There's the blind. And Zelleruth now 18 CS up, looking if he can expand that a bit. Should get all these, and that'll make it 21. So major lead for the Teemo here, and confirming what we kind of knew all along, which is that the Doc is going to have to try to find that Leap of Faith flash all in through Exhaust, Ignite, and Blind on the Teemo, who has Fleet Footwork as well, so he's sustaining quite well. Still has 3 cookies to chew through if he likes. There's that Noxious Trap, and Dr. C not having a great time here. Again, Test of Spirit not connecting, and now Zelleruth on the offensive. Exhaust is there, forces the flash out. Still chasing is the Teemo, and that should be a reset, but no flash available, and could be key. 60 CS now for Zelleruth. 100 gets him the victory, makes him your grand champion. That flash is going to be down for 5 minutes. Dr. C is not going to last that long. 100 minion mark will be crested over by far long before then. He's got a Caulfield's Warhammer and 2 control wards along with the sweeper. He is not interested in running into a single Teemo Shroom. He is on the hunt for some mushrooms. Playing it safe is Dr. C, but I don't think he can afford to play it too safe here. Recurve Bow and Pickaxe picked up by Zelleruth along with Boots and a Doran's, or excuse me, and a Dagger. Finally, a Test of Spirit does connect. The blind is there. See if we get any more. Maybe another Harsh Lesson. But the poke really won by Zelleruth. I mean, once again, it all comes down to ranged versus melee, and this is just a miserable time for the Alawi. Struggling to see an angle for Dr. C to come out with a victory here. 24 CS, make that 23 CS. Will get a win for the Teemo and make Zelleruth your grand champion. Continuing to poke. There comes the Leap of Faith, looking for something as Dr. C, but still the Ignite is there. With the poison, with the Ignite, I mean, yeah, you can see he can't really go in there, and yet if he doesn't go in, the clock is really ticking. He is running out of time. I don't know that he even has time to recall right now. I think he's got to do it right now. There comes the Blinding Dart. No Ignite. Actually, with the turret, pretty solid. That's a really nice Test of Spirit by the Doc, and that should give him just a little bit of breathing room, but still the Ignite available. The Exhaust soon. 14 make that 13 CS remaining until a victory for Zelleruth. And he's saying, yeah, I'm going to reset. Oh, never mind. Keeping his foot on the gas. I imagine this we'll see resets from both players. Yes, we will. 1,000 gold lead, by the way, you can see on your screens for Zelleruth. Never mind. Both of them cancel the resets. Zelleruth knowing, hey, if I get 10 more CS, I am the champion. It's looking more and more inevitable. I mean, the Doc at this point, what can you do? Has to hope that Zelleruth just resets, but a lot of damage coming through. I mean, one Blinding Dart at this point could kill the Alawi. And he is going to reset now. We'll see if Zelleruth says, yeah, I mean, if this recall channels, that's over. And it comes through. With a couple more minions, that should mean we have 100 CS there for Zelleruth. And we do! That should be GG's coming out. A smiley face coming out. Yes! Zelleruth, this time with our first CS victory of the entire tournament. And it happens in Game 3 with everything on the line in the Grand Finals. Zelleruth is your grand champion of the 7th Æsir 1v1. Now, sometimes we do look for an interview with our champion, but it appears he is currently unavailable, so sadly, that is going to have to conclude our coverage for the evening. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. First, of course, thank you to all of our viewers. Thank you so much to all the players, especially for your patience with the different spectator bugs we tend to keep getting. Wanting to make sure that we get coverage of all the games, which we got just about all of them. We got to see all 3 games of the finals. Congratulations to Zellyruth, the champion of the 7th Æsir 1v1, with a dominant run, not dropping a single game the entire way. A new champion crowned today in Zellyruth. Well done to Dr. C as well for making it all the way to the finals. It was a hard road, but in the end, Zellyruth is the champion. Thank you to all the players for participating. Thank you to Fold Mather for organizing this tournament. And of course, check out all of our links below. Make sure you join the Warriors of Æsir Discord server. Check out our social media. And keep in mind, we will be continuing to host more Æsir 1v1s, including the 8th Æsir 1v1 2 weeks from today. Make sure to come back and tune in once again for that, or sign up on Battlefy. But until then, that will be me signing off. Have a good one.